Okay, let's take the screen off. We got one screw right here, which I've already loosened. It's really just decorative. We're going to cantilever this up and out of the way, and we'll put this away to study in a minute because that's far more exciting to me than this. But anyway, let's see what we got. We got a little subassembly here. As I mentioned, this is the antenna. So this is just a bent metal wire that gets soldered in. This looks to be a piezo buzzer for beeps and blorps and boops. Got a beefy capacitor here. Look at me knowing electrical engineering. And then this is like a display submodule. So we'll set this aside to tear apart in a moment. And let's look at the plastic housings. Here's our power button, or our panic button, I'm sorry. That fits into a little hole here. So typically, these holes are formed, in this instance it looks like it's formed with a slider on the outside. So a piece of metal slides in and out here. And then, yeah, I don't see any, oh, it could be marks from lifters here. But anyway, I think there's a slider on the outside that forms this hole. And then we have ejector pins right here, these 3 locations that pushes the part out of the mold. You can see a mold code. So this is the 4th part of the cavity. So this mold is probably pretty big and makes multiple parts. My assumption is it makes 4 of them. Anything more than that is pretty fancy for a part this big. We have some openings here for snap hooks. So those are formed with sliders in the mold. We have screw bosses, boom, boom. We have more screw bosses. We have a shut-off opening right here, and that's for this battery door latch. We have another shut-off up top here, and that is for the wall mount. And here's that groove I was talking about earlier. So if we get the stand or the mount, I bet you'll see it, yep, poke through. Now on this mount, there's these little slots, openings, and that allows the plastic to just deform ever so slightly and give you this really tactile, like, pop sound. Pretty cool. Nicely done. That's fun. Figure that one out. This is for the buzzer. Let's see. There's 4 holes there. 1, 2, 3, 4. This could be like a programming jig. Oh, my guess is it's programmed through the plastic. So maybe there's like a pogo pin fixture that can actually hit these targets on the board here. See these 4? And those 4. All right, interesting. We'll see what happens there. Great. Let's get these guys out of the way. This is just a red injection molded plastic part. It's like a top hat shape. Very standard issue. Nothing super exciting there. This is exciting though. These are little living hinges. So these are cantilevers in the plastic that deform. I should probably show you that. So these provide that button springiness. There's your button in the middle, and that's a right angle surface mount component. And then if I grab the button and put it in, oh cool, there's some keyed features, so you can't put it in upside down. So the pins on this button aren't symmetric. So you can only put it in one way. And, oh yeah, definitely springiness. Cantilevers are okay, they're not great, but they're good enough for a button. Neat. My guess is this is probably polypropylene or ABS, but we'll see if there's a molded part code on there. So let's unscrew these 4 screws. We're in different screw territory now. This is the second screw I've seen, second screw type. Ideally, I like to try and use the same screw everywhere, but I also don't want to, put myself into a box. So if we need another screw, we'll use it. Boom, boom, boom. I think these are maybe a 0.5 millimeter smaller in diameter. And they have a wider head. Great. Let's get all this out of the way. So this was the button subassembly. You can kind of hear it clicking in 4 directions. I see 2 snap hooks here. So I'm going to try and pry these open. 1, 2. And I also see a display cable. So I've learned enough about electronics to know you flip that up. You can slide, it's a 0 insertion force cable. So this is, we'll call it the main board. Here's our display module. My guess is this is just a sandwich of a display, a transparent cover, and a black rear cover with some screw bosses and snap hooks and things so we can take that apart later. But this is how we got the clickiness. So we got 4 buttons. These are tactile switches. Snap domes, I think is what they're called. I don't know. But basically, you can specify them in different gram force and activation heights. Tick, 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 tick. So there's 4 of those laid out. We got our microcontroller, which is a microchip pick something, and I'll list that later. What else we got? We got a piece of foam here, which tells me that there was probably rattling in the past. And they just put a piece of foam tape in, and that will help reduce some rattling. We have our header again. This plugs back into that keypad board that I showed you earlier. So let's see if I can do this without breaking anything. Yep, cool. So you can see how they plug in together, kind of nest. This is a nice way to get, if you have components with like buttons, for example, at different heights, this is a nice way to kind of connect everything together, but also have your components at the right heights that you need. Plastic backer on this. I bet I can just pull it off at this point. Nope, more screws. There's a lot of screws in this thing. I wonder if you could have done this with snaps here. Probably. Screws are simple to add in from engineering time and effort, but more costly on a manufacturing side. So if you're making tons of something, it's usually worth investigating if you can replace screws with snaps. If you want to make something quickly, and you're not making millions of them, and you need it to be robust, screws work pretty damn well. So the other nice thing is these are thread forming screws, meaning that they actually bite into the plastic, so you don't have to add a nut or any other features. So you can just mold in a screw boss. I like this part a lot. We have standoffs here, which may actually help with locating the board as well. Yep, so see the little shelf on there is where the board sits. So this is for alignment. Those are the screw bosses. Then we have a little button part that I really enjoy. This is, again, number 4, telling me there's 4 of these. A fun little step there. I'll take a look at that later on. This is the receiver for the snap hook on one side and on the other. Really bulbous connection points here. And I wonder what those were doing. We'll have to take a look. So yeah, kind of kooky looking part. Let's go this way, yeah. So I wonder what these nubs do. We'll have to find that out. Nice little plastic piece. And then on the back side of our board, we have our display connector, some traces. I think these are test points, but yeah, those are test points for sure. Those 4. So that could be like a programming header. And then some other components, which I'll list out. Looks like another programming section here for like a, I forget the name, JTAG header? Something like that. No, not JTAG. Bunch of holes in the middle. It's always fun. There's your your button. And anything else fancy here? No, that's pretty easy. Cool. All right, I'll take a bunch of pictures. Keypad screen is what it says on it. Simplisafe. Yeah, not that great. Not that